Red, White, and Royal Blue, Chapter 13, Echoes and Fireworks. New York City lit up like a heartbeat the night Alex returned. July 4th brought the usual chaos. Parades spilling through the streets, fireworks painting the sky in explosions of red, white on blue, press badges flashing like fireflies, and politicians shaking hands under bunting-strung canopies. The city pulsed with energy, radiating anticipation and the hope of something new. But this time, it felt different. Henry was coming, publicly, unapologetically, unforgettably. For the first time, he would arrive not as a prince hidden behind layers of royal protocol, but as Alex's guest, as Alex's partner. The decision had come after months of careful planning, whispered conversations behind closed doors, and moments of silent courage. It was more than just a public appearance. It was a declaration. When Henry stepped out of the black SUV onto the cobbled street of Brooklyn, cheers erupted almost instantly. Not from handlers or aides, but from ordinary citizens, people who had watched from afar and now stood witness. A teenage girl waved a tiny rainbow flag with tears in her eyes. A group of veterans in faded caps saluted with solemn pride. An elderly woman blew him a kiss and whispered, "Good on you, son." Henry paused, visibly overwhelmed by the sea of genuine joy and acceptance. His chest rose as he took a deep breath, and then smiled, truly smiled, and walked forward. With every step, it felt less like ceremony and more like coming home. The streets didn't just welcome him, they embraced him. The rooftop party was already in full swing. Strings of warm lights crisscrossed the railings, casting golden hues onto laughing faces. Music floated upward with the scent of grilled corn, fresh flowers and sunscreen. Friends, allies, family, and a few brave members of the press mingled under the July heat, forming a tapestry of celebration and defiance. Henry and Alex stood shoulder to shoulder as fireworks began to bloom over the skyline, their colors reflecting in the glass of the surrounding buildings. The sound of each explosion echoed like a heartbeat, steady and proud. "Think we'll make it?" Alex asked, his voice soft and uncertain, the corners of his mouth twitching with nerves and laughter. Henry turned to him slowly, taking in the fireworks, the crowd, the moment, and the man beside him. "We already have," he said quietly, but with conviction that cut through the noise. They kissed, not hidden behind palace gates, not confined by duty, not whispered in secrecy, but open, under the stars, in full view of a world that was still learning, still watching, still hoping. Their kiss wasn't just for them. It was for anyone who had ever feared to love out loud. The crowd roared, camera flashes lit up the night, not as an invasion, but as celebration. Laughter and applause cascaded like another wave of fireworks. In that instant, they knew they weren't just writing a love story. They were living a turning point, a moment that would echo through headlines, through hearts, through history. Chapter 14. Letters Across the Sea. After the whirlwind in New York, calm returned, but only on the surface. Beneath the calm, ripples of change moved quietly, stirring in both the public eye and the private hearts of two young men trying to hold on to something extraordinary. It was the kind of silence that followed a storm, not emptiness, but the breath before everything shifts again. Alex found himself sitting at the kitchen table in his mother's D.C. townhouse, a cup of coffee long gone cold beside him, eyes glued to Henry's latest letter. Not a message, not a call, but an actual letter, handwritten in careful blue ink on royal stationery, folded with precise care and sealed with the faint scent of cologne. It felt timeless, like something from another century, and it made Alex's pulse quicken every time he read it. Alex, you asked me once if I was afraid of this. The truth is, I still am, every single day. But I'm more afraid of a life where I never try. A life where I deny myself what feels real and honest and alive. I think about you constantly. The curve of your mouth when you're about to say something you shouldn't, the fire in your voice when you're defending someone, the softness when you're half asleep. I don't know where this ends, but I know where I want it to go, toward you. Always toward you. Yours, Henry. The words anchored him. They steadied something inside that had been tossed by too many tides. They reminded him that while they lived in different worlds, on opposite sides of the Atlantic, their hearts beat in rhythm, sometimes painfully so, but always together. Alex read the letter 3 times before placing it gently on the table, smoothing out its folds as if it were something sacred. A slow smile curled on his lips. He wasn't much of a letter writer. Emails were more his speed, and his handwriting was barely legible. But maybe it was time to learn. Maybe some things deserved the slowness and intention of ink on paper. He pulled out a notebook and a blue pen, thinking of all the things he wanted to say, the jokes, the longing, the questions, the truths, and somehow the words began to come.